Hello, what is happening, confidence givers? Happy Monday, ole mole. Who is ready to crush this week? Drop live in the comments. If you are watching this live, drop a replay. If you are catching the replay over here, super exciting about today's training. Super excited about today's training. Because I am telling you, this is going to be the crook of your business. Okay, this is going to be really important, and it is the foundation. It is the foundation to getting started and really escalating your sales, escalating your business. And it was at one of my first events that I had gone to that I realized as a network marketer, we are story collectors and storytellers. Okay. So anybody that's in sales is a story collector or a storyteller. Hello, Lisa. How are you? Guys, if you're jumping in and you're catching me live, say live. If you're hitting the replay, hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know where it is you guys are coming in from. And I want you guys to, first of all, put storyteller in the comments, because that is what you are. And so as you guys are going around and you see things for your company and people are sharing their success, I want you to take that story and I want you to put it in your pocket. Okay, because stories are what sell, facts are what tell. Okay, somebody put that in the comments. Facts tell, stories sell. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Okay, so what you guys are is you are story collectors. Okay, now we're going to craft your own perfect story today, but you also have to realize that you are a story collector as well. Hey, Rana, how are you? What do I mean by that? Okay, so let's first talk about what you are as a collector, right? There are people on my team that are nurses. There are people on my team that are moms. There are people on my team that have special needs kids. There are people on my team that have lost 150 pounds, right? I have not lost 150 pounds. I don't have a special needs kid. I am not a nurse, right? But I have their stories. And so when I hear my team's stories or when I hear customer success, I collect those stories and I put them in my bag. And why do I put them in my imaginary bag over here? I put them in my imaginary bag because when I'm talking to a prospect, when I'm talking to a customer, right? I want them to know that I relate to them and I have a story that is similar to theirs. Okay. So if somebody tells me that they need to lose over 100 pounds of weight, I've got a story that I can share with them from somebody on my team and how they have lost 150 pounds, and I tell their story. Okay, does that make sense? So put storyteller in the comments, guys, if this is making sense for you. So I'm collecting other people's stories, and that is what I'm sharing with people that are interested in the products or the opportunity that don't necessarily have a similar story to me. Doesn't mean that I can't relate to them. It means that I might need to be telling somebody else's story. Okay, so you definitely want to be a story collector. But today, what we're going to do is we're not only going to collect people's stories. So what I want you to do is I want you to go through your team chats, your team's stories from people on your team, leaders in your company, and I want you to listen to their stories so that you can then go and tell them to people that are interested. Okay, so go be a collector. And then today we're going to learn how to craft your perfect story. Okay, that story that is about you, because it's your story also that is so important in terms of building a business online, especially in person. It doesn't matter, right? But you have a story. Okay, so I want to talk about how you have two stories. All right, somebody put this in the comments. Two stories. One is the product story that you have with your company's product. So put product story. Hey, Carla, how are you? One of them is your product story. Put product story. The second one is your opportunity story. Okay. So one is a product story. One is an opportunity story. these all have the same steps that we're going to go through. Okay. I'm going to personally go through my opportunity story, okay, to kind of show you how I tell my story. Okay. So, step one, you want to give a moment in time. Okay. So, here's my step one. Okay. So, I want you to think about this before I give you my example. Number one, think of the first time that you used the products or when you started the business. Okay. I want you to give me a moment in time. Okay. The first commission you received, the first credit card you were able to pay off, the first time you saw results. I want you to give me a moment in time. Okay. And then I want you to talk about sentences that start like this. If somebody can put this, thank you, Anna, for putting these in the comments. I'll never forget the first morning. I remember the first time someone told me I was looking so skinny. I remember the first time I went into Target and wasn't adding up all the items in my cart because the cost didn't matter to me. Okay. I'm giving you a moment in time. Here's my moment in time. Are you guys ready for my moment in time? I have my notes over here. And this is taken, a lot of this is taken from Kendra Hall. She's an amazing storyteller. So if you guys don't know Kendra Hall, I recommend you following her. She is fantastic. She's written a lot of books. She is amazing. She's a great speaker and a professional storyteller because that's what she does. She tells stories. So here's my moment in time. I remember that moment when I picked my daughter up from daycare after working a long day as a school counselor. And I picked her up and she looked at me and she came running outside and she said, Mommy, guess what? Guess what? I get to be teacher for the day tomorrow. And guess what? Guess what? You get to watch me. And my face fell because I knew that there was no way I was going to be able to take off work in the morning. I was a school counselor. I was never going to be able to take off work in the morning and watch her be teacher for the day. So it was at that moment in time. Do you guys see my moment in time? Isn't that so much more compelling? So much more. It's a true story. I'm not making up the story, and you're going to hear about my experience as I build it out for you guys. But that is my moment in time. For me, that is my moment when I knew everything needed to be changed. Okay. So put moment in time in the comments if this is making sense for you. Put moment in time. Okay. Then step number 2, what you want to do is you want to build it out. Okay. Fill in the details in your story. What I just started doing was I was starting to fill in the details. I'm going to continue. Okay. You want to get your audience visualizing what your story is. How many of you guys were able to visualize my daughter running towards me? And I didn't even build it out as much as I could, but how many of you visualized my daughter running towards me with a big smile on her face saying, Mommy, guess what? Guess what? I get to be teacher for the day, right? How many of you guys visualize that story, right? So you want to, hey, Diane, how are you? You want to make sure that you are building out the story. Don't be shy with adding in details, okay? So step number 1, you want to give it a moment in time. Step number 2, you want to build it out, okay? So you're going to build out the story. You guys ready? I'm building out my story. So I get in the car and she's telling me everything that she gets to do to be teacher of the day in the morning. She's going to be able to do the calendar. She's going to be able to help the teacher take attendance. And as I'm sitting there driving with my hands on the wall, I have tears streaming down my face because I knew that I was not going to be able to be there to watch her be teacher of the day. And I was not going to be able to see all of the excitement that she had because I knew my principal was not going to allow me to take off. Right? He needed me in the morning. The schools in the morning were a big shit show when the kids got off the bus. There was a lot of fighting that happened. There was a lot of pushing and shoving, and it was always crazy. And I knew he was going to say no. Okay. So now move into my favorite results, features, and benefits. So step number 3, you're going to bullet point me. Okay. So put bullet point for step number 3. So I'm going to keep building out my story so that you can see what I did. Okay. Now, Since that day, I received more compliments about how my skin is glowing. These are just examples for the product side of things. Since that day, I've received more compliments about how my skin is glowing and my waist is so tiny. Since that day, I've been able to retire from being a school counselor. I'm not there yet. I'm going to tell you the story, okay? Right? Bullet pointed out. So here's my bullet point. So I'm driving home, tears streaming down my face because I knew that I was not going to be able to be there to watch her be teacher for the day. I came home. I sent my principal an email. I asked him if I could take the morning off. It was only like a half an hour. And he said, no, I could not. He needed me there first thing in the morning. And it was at that moment that I realized that my network marketing business was a gift. It was at that moment that I realized I had this opportunity to never miss any of my daughter's teachers for the day. So, while I had to go and send my daycare worker for her to watch her be teacher for the day and to watch her and take pictures and show me because I couldn't personally be there because I was taking care of other kids, it was at that moment that is a pivotal moment for me. And I am so grateful for that moment because I realized I never wanted to miss another first with my daughter. It was at that moment that I realized I had a gift called network marketing and I needed to go all in. And I can happily say that 2 years later, after having that pivotal moment, I was able to retire from being a school counselor. And now I never miss anything of my children's that they have. I never miss it, right? This is a story, right? This is my story. Your story is going to be different. Raise your hand if you felt my emotion with my story. Raise your hand, drop the hand raising emoji if that was compelling to you, instead of just saying, I do network marketing or I retired from network marketing, right? This is a compelling story. This is what we tell people. This is my story. You need to tell your own story. Okay. So step number 4 is you need to wrap it all up. Go back to that beginning. Go back to saying, I will never miss another teacher of the day. I will be able to go. I volunteered on field trips. I'm able to help the teacher if the teacher needs me, right? This is wrapping it all back up with a pretty little, oh, hi, Bella. Bella's here. Say hi, Bella. Wrapping it all back up into a package. Now, here's the thing. This is my opportunity story, okay? I have a product story as well, but it's different. Okay. So it's a different story. So depending on what somebody is looking for, depending on what whoever I'm talking to, if it has nothing to do with me, then I'm going to collect somebody's story on my team. If it has to do with me, then I'm going to share my story. Okay. And I do a little bit of both. Sometimes I tell 2 stories. I'm like a professional storyteller over here, telling multiple stories. Okay. So step number 1, guys, is you're going to give a moment in time. You're going to say things like, that's when I knew. Then share how you'd use these products for the rest of your life, right? Sentences like, I'll never forget that first morning, or remember the first time, or it was at that moment that I knew, right? Those are like compelling, heartfelt words. Like you're feeling, I'm giving you an emotion, right? Okay. So step number 1 is give me a moment in time. Step number 2, you want to build out your story, give the details of your story, fill in the details. It doesn't need to be nobody wants to listen to an hour story, right? Like my story probably would have taken you, if I hadn't stopped, a minute and a half, 2 minutes tops. If that, it's like an elevator pitch, right? You got to do it. Like if you're on the ground floor, you want to get up to floor 15, you got to make it concise, right? Doesn't need to be long. Okay. Less is more. All right. Step number 3, bullet point me, talk me through it since that day. Somebody put step number 3, since that day. And then step number 4, wrap it up and go back to the beginning and tie it all in together. Okay. That is your story. That is what's going to sell. for your prospects, for your products. It doesn't matter. It's creating a story. You are a professional storyteller. Now, what can you do in terms of video? Go craft that story into small little segments. Go take your story and put it into small little segments to create a TikTok reel, to create a shorts, to create a YouTube reel, to create a Facebook reel. It doesn't matter. It's your story that's going to compel people to listen to you. It's your story that's going to get people to realize, oh my God, that is me, right? Do you know how many teachers my story can be related to? Do you know how many people, or even moms, working moms? Bella, what are you doing? No. Oh, you want your bone. Hold on. Let me get Bella her bone. Hold on. What are you doing? You want your bone? There you go, sweet girl. Okay, there you go. There you go. Here's your bone. Sorry. It's that story that is going to help you draw more sales, more business builders. It's not hard, but you have to have it ready. Okay? You have to have it ready to share out to your audience. Okay? So, guys, I hope that this was helpful. Please make sure that you're sharing this with your teams. Your teams need to hear how to craft that perfect story to help them draw people to you, okay? Because like I've said, stories sell, facts tell. And if you want to get more sales, if you want to get more business builders, then you need to be a professional storyteller, okay? You need to collect other people's stories, and you absolutely need to be crafting your perfect story. And you don't need just one story, you need two stories. You need a story about the products, you need a story about the opportunity. Okay, so what I want you guys to do over here is I want you guys to, now that you've just sat here and you've listened for the last 18 minutes, what I want you to do is I want you to get off of this and I want you to go and craft your stories. Okay, 2 stories while it's fresh in your mind. And then I want you to review your stories so that when you're talking to somebody, it flows, okay? That story just comes out of your mouth. You've got the details, you've built it up, you've wrapped it up, you've bulleted it, you've wrapped it up, and then you've solidified that story, okay? So what I want you to do after right now is I want you to go craft your 2 stories. It should not take long, okay? There's a reason that you joined your company. There's a reason that you love the products that you sell. Go craft those 2 stories, okay? It could be about the first time you paid your credit card bill. It could be the first time that you were able to take your kids to X, Y, and Z because of your side gig. It could be the first time that you were able to pay for diapers. It doesn't matter. Everybody's story is different, and you have the opportunity to go and craft your perfect story. Okay, your story, my story, not the same. It's not going to be the same, but you can tell your story in the same compelling way that's going to leave people to be like, oh my God, that's me. Or, oh my God, that sounds like my best friend Katie. Or, oh my God, that sounds like my sister Amy, right? All of those things can then go and they can relate to you, and bam, you've hit them. Okay. You've hit them in the emotional piece of things, which is where you want to hit, because people buy from emotion. People join from emotion. They do not join from facts. Okay. I promise you that. You don't need to know all of the ins and outs of your product and how this is made and how that is made and how it reacts with your body over here or whatever. You want to tell your perfect story so that you're hitting somebody's emotions. Okay. Put emotions in the comment if that's making sense to you guys. All right. Next week, guys, I will not be here. I am going to Cabo for spring break. So we will not be having any training next week. But I will be back after, I think it's probably, oh my gosh, I can't even believe it, April. I will be back in April, and we will definitely reconvene then. I love you guys. Hashtag value. If this has been helpful for you, so that I know that there are, that this is helpful. Share this with your teams, tag your teams. I'm putting it on my business page so that everybody can see it. And guys, I will see you in 2 weeks. Have an amazing, amazing few weeks in March. Bye, guys.